impossible to tell, is it, really? I'm afraid.
Keith, can I have a word with you?
Certainly.
Look at that, Maddox.
154? That's up 2 points.
Yes, so somebody's... get me Maddox Engineering, please. I want to speak to Mr. Maddox Senior. So somebody's buying.
In preparation for a takeover?
Well, I doubt if they're buying to have shares in a dynamic engineering firm.
Do you think Maddox knows?
I'm going to find out now. Oh, hello, Mr. Maddox. Good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Telford. Very pleasant today.
Yes, Mr. Maddox, have you seen your share prices recently?
Yes.
This morning?
No.
They're at 154 this morning, up 2 points.
Oh.
Now, that makes a rise of 9 points in a week.
Well, it shows that somebody has faith in the firm. Somebody isn't taking your gloomy view.
Yes, the interesting question is who?
Well, does it matter very much?
Oh, it may matter a great deal. I mean, if it's GKN, say, or anyone anywhere near as big, you're going to find it extremely difficult to fight a takeover bid.
Telford, you're in danger of becoming a bit of a bore on that subject. I've told you before.
So you don't know who's buying?
Well, it doesn't matter. We're safe.
Have any recent purchases showed up in the share register yet?
I'm sure I don't know. Tempter looks after all those bits of paper. I look after the real
Well,
work.
when any new transfers show up, I'd be very grateful if you'd let me know.
Right, I will.
All right, thank you. And I'll be up this morning as arranged to start looking over the figures in more detail.
Very well. See you then. Goodbye.
Goodbye. My God, he's an obstinate old...
Customer.
Right.
Bank managers always asking questions.
Well, we've got nothing to hide.
Of course not.
Your father used to say the banks make their money out of our sweats.
Yeah, he knew a thing or two. He'd have had this fella Telford for breakfast.
Yes, he did have a blunt way of saying things.
But he was lucky. In his day, it was enough to do your job. Today, you have to spend so much time watching your back, you can't get on with the work in front of you. Anyway, Telford's coming up here later. Show him anything he wants to see, Herbie, will you?
No, we were just checking availability, really. And you say that she's available from the 16th. What? Oh, there's a possibility of a series. Yes, you'd need to know soon. Well, no, perhaps we should just leave it at that. Certainly you shouldn't turn anything down and count on this. What? Well, look, I tell you what, I'll have a word with the director and see when he's thinking of finalizing. Yes, I'll let you know. All right? Yes. All right. Yeah. Bye.
Your husband must be a lunatic. Going away and leaving a lovely lady like you.
What do I say to that? Oh, sir, this is so sudden. I never knew you cared.
Not bad. It will be better. My husband and I have never cared for each other, and now he's gone. I feel a tremendous relief.
Well, no, I'm afraid not. In this management, we only deal in truthful plays.
Oh, my God, you're going to bankrupt me.
Oh, I'll certainly do that if you don't let me get on casting this one.
Well, I won't stop the good work. Look, this came today. It's from Newcastle. It's a new play. Now, I don't know the writer, but I do know the director, and he recommends it. And, well, I think we should take a look at it.
Newcastle?
A lot of England north of Watford, you know.
Really? There's a lot of Britain north of Newcastle, too.
Oh, my God, it's not my day, is it? Look, I'll start again. Let's pretend I've just come in. Do you think you could go to Newcastle sometime this week?
On my own?
If you insist.
How about, Wednesday?
It's fine.
It should be all right for one night.
I've got to go to Manchester myself on that day, so I'll get Pat to fix up your hotel at the same time.
All right, thank you.
Right.
14,000 gallons of oil.
That's right, and another 2,000 gallons on order.
But you're only using 200 or 300 gallons a week.
Oh, but Mr. Maddox said we'd always got to keep our stocks up.
Yes, I see. You do lots of the clerical work here, don't you, Mr. Templer?
Oh, yes, I seem to keep an eye on most of it.
Yes, Mr. Maddox was telling me this morning that you also keep the share register of the company.
Well, that's true, but that's not a very onerous job. I mean, our shares aren't traded much.
No.
You know, most of the capital was subscribed in old Mr. Maddox's time, and lots of local people bought shares, and they hang on to them, you know. Sound investment.
Oh, of course.
Oh, as a matter of fact, a share transfer form came in this morning.
Oh, who was buying the share?
Oh, I've no idea. I haven't entered it yet. Here they are.
Do you mind if I see? Well, I think that's all I can do here for the time being. I'll just have a word with Mr. Maddox before I go. Thank you for your help, Mr. Templar.
Oh, not at all, any time.
Oh, finished then?
Well, I've a pretty good idea of the stock position.
Well, what do you think? We're pretty solid, aren't we?
I also saw a share transfer form.
Oh,
You're buying your own shares, I see.
why not? I've got faith in the firm.
Oh, I don't doubt that.
Well, there's nothing illegal about it, is there?
Well, no, not in the present circumstances. But it isn't wise in those circumstances either.
Why not? You keep threatening me with a takeover bid. Well, the more shares I have, the safer I am.
But you're drawing attention to yourself. Look, I rang you this morning to ask who was buying your shares. Do you think I'm the only person in England who reads the share prices?
Well, I must say I didn't expect the price to rise like that.
Well, if you'd asked, I would have told you. Just as you should have told me that it was you who was buying the shares. We can only proceed, you and I, on a basis of mutual trust.
Sorry.
All right, enough said. You see, the point is, there's very little trading in your shares. So if you want to buy, say, 5,000 of them, the jobber almost certainly hasn't got any to sell. He has to keep putting up the price to try to make a market.
Yes.
So everybody else must now be looking at Maddox and wondering why there's such a sudden interest in your shares. Financial directors of big engineering firms will be worried in case they're missing something. I'll bet today there'll be half a dozen discreet inquiries starting about this firm and why it's suddenly so interesting to somebody.
Yeah, I could issue a statement saying that I'm increasing my holding.
No, Mr. Mast, I do most urgently recommend that you bring in our merchant bank subsidiary, because if there is no bid, then you still need help to restructure this company to make sure it survives. And if a bid should come, then the bank will be in a much stronger position to fight it off.
It's a good place.
It's nostalgic for me. I haven't been here since I started working for you.
You came here with your committee?
It's just over the road.
Max Fielding.
Oh, yes, I forgot that you know him.
Well, not very well. I remember being intrigued by his reference for you.
Oh?
A sort of reluctant praise.
Reluctant?
I don't mean the praise was reluctant, rather, he didn't want to lose it.
But he didn't have me. He was... That could have been better put.
Oh, no, as far as I'm concerned, it was put perfectly.
Yes, now, what am I supposed to be looking for in Newcastle tonight?
Well, a play with one set, 4 actors at the most, funny as a Fado farce, moving as Chekhov, pure as St. John, and as sexy as old Calcutta might be. Simple, really.
Is my journey really necessary?
Of course. And I wish I were coming with you.
That would be silly, be a waste of effort.
Yeah.
There's no good having an assistant if you do everything yourself, is there?
Absolutely not.
Looked over the stuff you sent. I don't think you called us in too soon.
Oh, I'm damn sure I haven't. My predecessor's been working on him for a long time, and I suppose I was the final straw.
Well, from the balance sheets, it looks a classic case of a failing company.
Oh, it's not quite like that. Maddox is no fool, and the balance sheet doesn't tell the whole story. Still, I won't prejudice your investigation. Now, I've made an appointment for 3 o'clock.
Good.
So I'll come up and leave you after a few minutes.
Right.
Right.
Doesn't your dad mind?
Why should he?
Mine would.
Well, no, it's always been like that. At least as far as I can remember. See, I mean, Dad's been away such a lot that they've, found their own lives, really.
Well, I wouldn't like it.
Oh, I don't know. See, Mum used to get miserable, but since she's had this new
It's
job...
not being married, is it? You know, being together. Sharing things.
Well, no, they share a lot.
Yeah, but don't they get... lonely?
Oh, you mean, do they have other sexual relationships?
I wasn't asking.
you were? Well, the answer is, I don't think so. But I don't know.
Mine do. Check. That's why they're always on the point of breaking up. No, I wouldn't like it.
No, but I suppose I wouldn't be very thrilled about it either. But it's their life, I guess. You've got to let them make their mistakes.
Oh, would you get me a Dover number, please? 564213. All right, thank you. Hello?
Hello there.
Tim?
Yes.
Where are you? Did you manage to get back to London?
No, same as you. Sitting in a lonely hotel room.
How was your play?
Terrible. I left after the first act. It was the longest night I've spent in the theatre for a long time. How was yours?
Terrible. The second act was worse. It was the longest 2 nights I've ever spent in the theatre.
I'm sorry about that. So here we both are then, bored. If only we were together, we could have a glass of champagne, drown our sorrows, and moan about the state of British theatre.
Yes, that would be very nice.
We must do it sometime.
Sometime.
Well, good night.
Good night, Tim. I'll see you tomorrow.
I can't wait.
Good night. Hello? Oh, darling, are you all right? You sound awfully tired.
Well, that's not very surprising. I was in bed.
Well, I'm sorry, but I mean, oh, my God, it's 12:30. I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. Do you have a good evening?
Well, actually, the play was terrible, but I did feel very important. The manager made me feel like the Queen. How was your... Hello? Who's there?
The service, madam. I've been asked to bring you some champagne.
Sylvia, you there?
Just a moment, please. Sorry about that, darling. It's all right. It was room service.
Oh, what on earth did you order?
Oh, some cocoa. Darling, let me tell you what. You go back to bed. I'm sorry I woke you. I'll call you tomorrow.
All right. Good night.
Evening, madam.
Tim, what are you... But you said that you were...
In a lonely hotel room. You know, you're the sort of person who'll get guests a bad name with waiters. Don't you want this? Set would be very nice. And we must do it sometime. I said I couldn't wait until tomorrow to see you. And you didn't disagree. And before you make up your mind to be angry with me, let me just say I'm expecting no payment of any kind. For the champagne, or for the mad drive over the Pennines. Just that you drink a glass of me, wish me a civil good night, and I'll be gone. No strings. Promise.
Oh, the bath. Oh, nice. Have you really been to Manchester?
What? Do you doubt me, madam? Exhibit 1. Note the date. Ah, but you say I could have got that from the theatre before tonight. So, Exhibit 2. I have to present my driving license at West End Central within the next 5 days. I was caught speeding on the M62. At the time, 9:45. My case rests, lady.
You're an idiot.
I'm not prepared to defend myself against that charge. No. Cheers.
Cheers. Why did you do it?
I told you the first act was terrible. And the prospect of a 120-mile drive for a glass of champagne with you seemed infinitely more exciting.
I don't know what to say.
Oh. Well, for starters, you could say, Tim, you must be terribly tired after that drive. Why don't you sit down? Only for a minute, mind. And I'm not offering anything but a chair.
Oh, I'm terribly sorry. Please sit down.
Thank you. Now, what was our plan?
Your plan?
No, our plan. We were going to moan about the state of the British theatre, I believe. How was your play?
It was a mess. The jokes were weak, the structure predictable, and the sentiment phony.
So we could buy it and have another West End hit on our hands.
You said on that first day that only good plays stood a chance now.
That's good.
What?
You remembered what I said on our first day.
Oh, Tim, I feel that I must say something.
Is it about the British theatre?
No.
Then really, we mustn't talk about it. And in any case, I've finished my glass of champagne. So I must go.
You're going?
Well, if you absolutely insist I stay, I wouldn't be such a bore as to refuse.
Good night then, Tim. Did you really drive all that way just to drink one glass of champagne?
Sylvia, I'm not 16. I'm not into just a quick roll in the hay. I like you very much. And I want you to know you can trust what I say. Good night, Sylvia.
Morning, Charles.
Sir? You were bright and early this morning, sir?
Well, I have a lot of notes to dictate.
You're the first one in, apart from me, that is.
It's good to give them all a shot now and again.
Yes, sir.
Hello? Oh, Mum, hi. Hey, surprise, surprise.
I'd better give you a ring and see that you were up.
Yeah, well, of course I'm up. Getting ready to go to school.
Do you sleep well?
Yes, the deep sleep of the pure in heart. And you?
Oh, I slept very well. Did you go to bed early?
Oh, yeah, very early, yeah. I went up the little wooden hill and the Sandman came and dusted my eyes.
Oh, look, I better go. You're going to be late for school.
Yes, I must rush, actually. I see you tonight.
Yes. All right, bye-bye then.
Yeah, bye.
L.K. White of White's bookshop requested an overdraft facility of £1,000 to increase stock. He has an opportunity to buy very cheaply a large number of books from a bankrupt bookseller, so
We are worked by string. Like a Japanese marionette. Morning.
Good morning, Keith.
You're a bit early.
Well, these notes keep piling up. I thought I'd get rid of them in one go.
Good idea. Oh, how did the visit to Maddox go?
Oh, very well, really, except I was hoping to stay just a few minutes, but Maddox insisted I stay.
Yeah, so Carol said.
Did she?
Yes.
Yes. Yes. Oh, you know, you have to hand it to Miller. He went right to the guts of the problem. I mean, Maddox started very, heartily. But by the end of the session, it was he who was asking the questions.
Good. But will he be long making his report?
No, not long. He said it'd be just a day or so. Anyway, I must get back to these, or I shall have wasted an hour's sleep.
Right.
And he says he's last seen weeping by a body to favour of his football team.
I'm always back. That was a very good breakfast.
Enjoyed it.
All the better for being unalloyed by guilt.
I'll grab my stuff and pick it up in a few minutes.
Oh, it's room 203, Sylvia Telford. I'm just checking that you are sending the bill to Tim Hart Productions.
Yes, that's right.
Oh, and, Mr. Hart, what are the arrangements for his bill?
The same. The rooms were booked at the same time.
Good. Thank you.
Ready?
Yes, Tim.
There. Ah, so there. I've sorted the bills.
Yes.
Loan approved, subject to receipt of deeds.
Is that it?
No, I've finished.
Good. Have you seen the Financial Times today?
Well, no, I rushed in here to get on with this lot.
Maddox are up another 6 points.
6?
That's right.
That's a hell of a rise.
Maddox must have bought a hell of a lot of shares.
Yes, if he's the only buyer. Oh, get me Mr. Miller at Thalberg's, please.
Yes, sir.
What was Miller's attitude about the rising prices?
Well, the same as ours. With little or no trading, the price is bound to rise.
Do we know how many shares he bought?
10,000. Oh, hello, Simon. What, the rise in prices yesterday?
Yeah, I saw it on the train this morning. As soon as I got in, I asked our brokers to see what they could pick up discreetly on the floor of the exchange, apart from the odd cigar butt.
Have you heard anything?
No, not yet.
Do you think there's another buyer in the market?
Well, if Maddox was telling us the truth about how much he was buying, I should think it's likely. 10,000 wouldn't push it so high. This does change things, of course. Look, I think I better see him again. Can you fix up an appointment for me, say, after 3?
Well, I'll try, and I'll ring you back on that.
Right.
Get me Mr. Maddox straight away, please.
Yes, sir.
Yes, he does think there's another buyer in the market. Well, he says it seems likely.
I wonder what Maddox will do about that.
If I had to bet on it, he'll panic and try to buy more and more shares.
He can't really alter the balance that way, surely.
Well, he does control quite a lot already.
Mr. Telford, Mr. Maddox isn't at the factory. His secretary says he hasn't been in this morning.
Thank you. That's very strange. He's not at the factory. And he prides himself on never missing a day. Come in.
Excuse me, sir. Mr. Maddox has arrived and wants to see you.
Thank you, Charles. Ask him to wait a moment, will you? And close the door, please.
Very good, sir.
Bring in Carol, please. Carol, this business of Maddox seems to be hotting up. What have I got today?
11:30, Mr. Fisk. You have no luncheon appointment. And at 3 o'clock, a Mr. and Mrs. Elton about a bridging loan.
Right. So, Keith, you take Mr. Fisk, will you? He's thinking of forming himself into a company.
Right.
And the Eltons, because I don't know anything about them.
Right.
Carol, you better keep me clear if possible.
Right.
All right, Keith, thank you. Just wait for a moment, Carol, will you? I just want to check with Maddox if he's free this afternoon.
Right.
Oh, good morning, Mr. Maddox. I've just been ringing you.
Good morning. I came straight from home.
Thank you. You know my clerk, do you, Miss Milton?
How'd you do?
I think I know why you've come, Mr. Maddox. Mr. Miller's been on the telephone this morning, and he'd like to see you this afternoon. Can you manage that?
Yes, I could, yes.
Carol, get on to Mr. Miller and fix that, will you?
Certainly. Would you like some coffee?
Would you like some coffee?
Not for me, thank you.
No, thank you. You saw the paper this morning?
Yes. I haven't bought any more shares since last week.
Oh, then it seems somebody else is in the market.
Bloody pirates.
Well, they do have a considerable job. And if you keep control of your block, they won't find it easy. But Mr. Miller will know far more than I do about this sort of thing.
Will you lend me £100,000?
Why?
To buy shares.
Well, aren't we being a little precipitate? Perhaps we should wait to see Mr. Miller.
I want to know where I stand before we meet him. Will you lend me the money?
What sort of security were you thinking of offering?
I have an endowment policy maturing in 5 years for £30,000 as my shares in the company and my house. That's worth £60,000.
How could you afford the interest repayments, let alone the capital requirements? See, Mr. Maddox, you are now, by any standards, a wealthy man. I do urge you not to damage yourself by acting precipitately.
So, how much will you lend me?
There's the endowment policy.
And the house?
Yes, but we'd be very unhappy about accepting that.
Why ever not? Damn it, it's worth at least £60,000.
Yes, I realise that, but look, Mr. Maddox, you want to buy shares on a steeply rising market. Now, if you succeed in your aim, the shares would fall. They must do. Almost certainly below the price they started at a few weeks ago. So overnight, you'd lose 20 or 25% of your capital investment.
But I'd keep my company.
Now, even that is not certain.
That's your opinion.
Well, yes, it is, and I have to make a judgment on it. If we should have to recall the loan, or if interest rates doubled, as they did a year or so ago, we should find ourselves in a situation where you could not possibly manage the interest and the capital repayments, and the bank would have to evict the town's biggest businessman and sell his house. We'd rather not get ourselves into that position.
Well, here we are again. It's disgraceful, really. Halfway through the afternoon and only a long drive and a longer lunch to show for it.
Well, I chalk those up as great credits for today.
Yes, I have enjoyed it. Very much. Thank you.
And you're not cross about last night?
Nothing happened, did it?
You don't have to rub it in. Behaving like a gentleman can be a real strain on the nervous system, you know.
But you did, and I'm grateful.
At your service.
Oh, Tim. Just for the record, I know that you booked that room last Monday at the same time as mine.
Oh, dear. It's always the way. If a lady's bright enough to be really attractive, she's also bright enough to see through one's little routers. But in my defense, I must say that I didn't say any different.
No, I thought over what you did say, and you didn't lie. Technically, at least.
More than that. Look, I had to go to Manchester, but I knew it would be bloody awful. If by a chance in a million it hadn't been, I would have stayed.
There's no need to explain.
There was. Not angry?
No. But I think perhaps I ought to be.
Thank you.
Tim?
Yes.
You won't forget to go to the police station, will you?
Sorry I'm late. The traffic was worse than I thought.
So you drove down?
Yeah. It's standing on a yellow line outside.
Oh, right. We'll go straight away. Hello, I'm just about to leave. Oh, all right. I shan't be long.
Shall I?
No, sorry. Hello? Hello, darling. I'm just off to a meeting.
Oh, I won't keep you a moment. Do you think you could come home tonight?
Why, what's wrong?
Nothing's wrong, nothing at all. just like to see you, that's all.
You sure everything's all right?
I'd very much like to see you. That's so surprising.
Well, no, of course not. Hang on a minute, darling. Simon, are you driving back after the meeting?
Yeah.
Would you mind giving me a lift?
Oh, delighted.
Oh, that's very kind of you. All right, darling, I should be home 7 or 8, something like that.
Oh, that's marvellous. I'll have dinner ready for 8:30 then. All right, I'll see you then.
Sorry, this bloody man. I'm sorry, I didn't know you were.
It's all right, I finished. I was just ringing Mark to ask him to come home for dinner tonight.
Oh, nice.
Yes.
And he's coming.
Yes.
Good. Hope you have a lovely evening.
Yes, I shall.
Sit yourselves down, Telford, Miller. This is my son, Christopher.
How do you do? How do you do? You're in charge of sales, I understand.
Yes, that's right. I wanted him along because if there's going to be a fight, we want all the family together.
Of course.
Now, Telford tells me you think there's someone else in the market.
Yes.
Who?
We think it's Western Foundries Limited.
They're huge.
Precisely.
So what do they want with us?
Well, what we have here is virtually a one-product company.
Hey, that's a bit strong, isn't it?
Now, if you were to remain independent, then you should have invested pretty heavily in research to increase productivity on that basic product. Secondly, you ought to be looking for new products to diversify your production.
Yeah, well, Telford's told me all that before and I've started looking into it. We can manage that.
Yes, but that may take years. And the indications now are that we don't have that much time. I must tell you, I anticipate an approach to you to ask you to sell.
They'll be lucky.
And if the sale is not agreed, there will probably be an unfriendly bid.
Well, we bloody will fight them, won't we, Christopher?
Yes, I suppose so. Tell me, Mr. Miller, how much do you think we could sell for?
Well, what the hell difference does it make?
We ought to know the facts.
Well, obviously I haven't done nearly enough work on this, but I should say we could sell each share for something a little over £2.
£2? Values the company at $1 million.
Yes.
What difference does it make? We're not selling. Look, Mr. Miller, I keep trying to tell you. I own a little over 20%. Chris here has 10%. My younger son's 10% in trust for him when he's 25. And my uncle has the income from 10% in trust to come to the boys when he dies. Now, that's over 50%. They can't win.
You've not thought of one thing. 20% of that 50% is in trust.
Yes?
Well, the trustees may decide that the trust beneficiaries' money would be better safeguarded if this company became part of a larger, more progressive company.
Our trustees are the bank, Knight's Bank. We've been with them for years. I mean, they wouldn't sell, would they? Telford.
Well, no, Miss Maddox, not Knight's Bank. It's Knight's Trust Company. And they have a legal duty to act solely in the interests of their beneficiaries, in this case, your 2 sons and your uncle. And if they felt that the money could be safer and yield more in another company, they must sell, or they could be sued for negligence by the beneficiaries.
But my uncle's gaga, he won't sue. You think my sons will sue them against me?
Now, that wouldn't make any difference. The trustees wouldn't act on the basis that your uncle was senile. They would act as they saw fit in his interests and those of your 2 sons.
What loyalty, eh? We've banked with Knights for over 60 years from the beginning. And now, when there's a real need, you're with the rats scuttling away. Well, I'll tell you something. If we lose this battle, you've lost our account.
Well, we shall in any case, because Western Foundries banks with the Midland, they'll transfer it there.
And knowing that, you'd still help to destroy this company.
I think the trustees would take the view they were helping to save it.
All right. Now you listen. I don't care what anybody else does, but we're going to fight. If you won't lend me the money to buy shares, I'll find somebody who will. I'll sell every bloody thing I have to buy shares in this company and live in this sodding office if necessary. Now, just tell me one thing more. If I manage to get Chris's and my holding up to 40%, would they succeed in the bid?
Probably not.
38%?
Touch and go.
All right. So I know what to do.
But that is madness. Don't you
My
understand?
father was mad when he thought he could build a business that would grow to be worth $1 million, starting with £100 capital. But he did it. And I'm not going to let it go.
Oh? Why?
Why not? It's perfectly natural, isn't it? He wants to come home as often as he can.
Oh, yeah, I suppose so. It's just that he hasn't before, that's all.
So?
Well, for the first time, you spend a night away from home. And biff bang, before you know who you are, there's Dad the evening after discovering he can't stay away a moment longer. It's just interesting, that's all.
I don't know what's going on inside that devious head of yours, but as a matter of fact, it was me who rang your father and asked him to come home.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, well, the plot thickens. So what were you doing last night?
I went to the theatre alone. I slept alone and I came home. Nothing particular happened.
Poor old Mummy. So bored stiff you simpered. See, I'm just going to do my homework. I want to go out tonight.
So, what were you doing last night alone?
Sorry to delay you.
Not at all. I'm not in a hurry.
Do you know what I could do with? A drink.
Fine.
Or whiskey?
Oh, just a small one with a lot of soda.
That was a very distressing scene.
Will he go through with it, do you think?
Could do. He's an obstinate old cuss.
He can't win in the end, you know. What's the younger son like?
Oh, I don't know. I haven't met him. Different from the elder, I should think. He's reading engineering at Cambridge.
I wouldn't trust Christopher farther than I could throw him.
No. That's such a common pattern, though, isn't it? He's not a bad man, Maddox. He's autocratic and obstinate, but he's worked and sweated.
You don't run a company with sweat. The skills are very different. You need flexibility, vision, and the ability to prune hard at dead wood. And some of the very qualities that make Maddox an attractive man, his paternalism, make him a bad managing director.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I think he's got a point, though. Efficiency isn't everything. He looks after his men, for example. I think they really respect him.
Oh, of course. But when his company goes bust, his workers will be the first to shout that he's failed them. They won't proclaim their love for him from the dole queue.
Well, that's that, then. Do you want a brandy here?
No, I don't think so.
Why then?
Where are you going?
Ah, yes, now remember, I don't want you too late in bed tonight.
He appears to have gone out.
It's good to have you home again.
Thank you. It was a good meal. I particularly enjoyed the fatted calf.
Why? Are you the prodigal? You've been consorting in that in Dover.
Yes. With shopkeepers who want more shelves and couples who want a house. And a sub-lieutenant of industry who wants to keep his company.
Are you still sure that you want to stay?
Dear, you always ask that. Yes, I am.
What, until all the shopkeepers have shelves and the sub-lieutenant becomes a captain of industry?
Well, actually, he's more likely to be cashiered and reduced to the ranks. Anyway, what about your job? You still enjoying it?
Yes, I am. More than anything for years. Oh, and it's not just the money, it's feeling part of the world again.
That's good.
Do you know, I see a theatre sometimes and I look at what they're doing. They're looking for new names, new plays. Oh, it's silly, really. I suppose it's a feeling of power, but I mean, this morning I saw a poster outside the Oxford Playhouse and it was advertised.
Oxford?
Yes, on my way back from Newcastle. There you are.
I thought you went up by train.
Oh, yes, I did. Tim drove me back. He'd gone up north too, so he picked me up and he drove me back. Simple. Anyway, at the...
When did he pick you up?
Last night.
I see.
No, I don't think you do, Mark.
And the room service last night?
Yes, that was Tim. I was completely taken by surprise, I promise you.
I didn't know you meant the word service so agriculturally.
Now, look, Mark, you better listen to me before you say something that you'll regret later.
Yes, I'm listening.
Tim went to a theatre in Manchester last night. He left after the first act and he came over to see me.
To bring you cocoa.
No champagne, if you must know.
Oh, he has style.
Yes, he has. He made it clear that he would like to sleep with me with great style. And I made it clear, equally stylishly, I hope, that it wasn't on. We drank one glass of champagne, and he returned to his room after a formal kiss. That was all. And this morning we drove down and we stopped for a very pleasant lunch in Oxford.
So why all the guilt? Loving phone calls, summons home, duck à l'orange.
Because I have a fear that if he'd been just one jot less stylish and one iota more pressing, I would have finished up in bed with him.
You wanted to?
Yes, with a part of me I wanted to very much.
And if you had, would one act of adultery have finished us?
No, not necessarily. Oh, God, we've never really discussed this. I don't know if you've ever been unfaithful to me. And I don't want to know. I really mean it, I don't. It so happens that I haven't to you, but that's almost irrelevant. There have been occasions when I was very tempted, and even if I had yielded, it wouldn't have threatened us at all.
But last night was different.
Yes. Because I like Tim. I like him very much.
How old is he?
Oh.
Are you telling me you love him?
No, I'm not. But I'm telling you that I think I could. And if we made love, I would. I'm telling you that I feel us threatened and I want us to fight back.
How? By giving up Dover, by coming back to London as blackmail, Sylvia?
No, it's not. God, that's a terrible thing to say. Look, can't you see that I'm struggling to save us, but we have to look for each other again?
Why, it's not so hard, is it? You know where I am, where I've always been. I can't compete with your sexy young theatre manager with his glamorous job.
You know, you're insulting me, Mark. I know what you are, and I love you. As a matter of fact, I've always found you the wittiest and most attractive man I've ever met. And I love your compassion and your softness, if you like. But these are ideas in my head now. I know they're true because I tell myself that they're true, but I didn't have to do that once, and now I do.
So what do you want us to do?
I don't know. I suppose I've started by bringing it all out into the open. My Oxford slip was almost certainly Freudian.
Yes, thank you for that.
We have to look for each other again.
Sylvia, you are one of the most honest people I've ever met. I love you too. And I want you to think and answer this honestly. Is all this looking for each other, whatever that means, a way of coping with your guilt when we don't find each other?
I suppose it could be, but it hadn't occurred to me. But if you don't have faith in us, Mark, we may as well finish tonight.
Isn't that what you really want?
Oh, have a good evening in London.
Yes, thank you.
Phone message from Maddox. He wants you up there. The financial director of Western Foundries is calling to see him at 10:30, and he wants you there.
Oh, God, this would be the one morning I'm late. Get me a taxi, will you?
And of course, we would find a place for you in the restructured company. We would want your vast experience.
I'm terribly sorry I'm late.
This is Calthorpe from Western Foundries.
Mark Telford.
He's come to offer me 205 pence per share, and he was just in the middle of telling me that when he takes us over, he'll want to keep me. But he wants his financial man here, his methods and organisation man, his work efficiency expert and his research director, but he'll still want me. Because it needs someone to lick the bloody stamps.
Mr. Maddox, it's not like that.
I want 220.
It's too much, I'm afraid.
How much?
We might go to 210.
Give me 212 as yours.
I'll put it to the
Just
board.
send me the offer.
Look, I'm sure we can
All
look
right.
forward.
You got what you came for. Now just get out.
I do understand.
English, get out.
Good morning, Mr. Telford.
I'm very sorry, Mr. Maddox. I'm sure you've done the right thing.
The only thing left? I can see the bank had to stab me in the back. Its heart's in a strong room after all, but... Last night, Christopher told me he was going to sell.
I'm sorry.
When you put your faith in someone, Telford, and you find they're up for sale to a higher bidder, not worth the candle. Don't you think?